Cincinnati at first, and we'll talk about that. The question here, and maybe Frank, you could state that again. Um,
Yeah, the question was the student, when they were running the simulation, they could see the obviously the routes or the blue
yeah,
lines
yeah,
in the various facilities, and then they could see sort of trucks moving around. But when they went to Fort Wayne
right.
store, they claimed that they could not see a vehicle or route associated with that particular store.
Oh,
So
okay,
they did not know how to change any of
sure.
the parameters associated with the transportation. So
Yeah.
that's what I just wanted you
All
to
right.
show.
Yeah.
And in doing that, you'll show the right hand side here that shows the various settings, such as the vehicle, the number of trips or frequency of trips, and so on like that.
Right. So the first thing, and the reason they couldn't find any vehicles in Fort Wayne is because the vehicles are based at the distribution center. It's not that they couldn't be based at Fort Wayne. You can move the vehicles. You can say, you know what, I want to disperse all my trucks and I want to base them out at the stores and have them come into the DC and pick up product instead of being based at the DC and go to the stores to deliver product. Those are all things you can do. When you download the case at first, we're using a traditional uh, configuration. And here's another thing. As you click through your model, you'll know a lot of things visually. We are very map and visual oriented, and we're always looking for ideas to make things more visual and easier to understand. When I click on a facility like Fort Wayne, it's going to open up a dialog box, tell me a little bit about it, what I need to know, things like the name, the type of facility that it is, its storage capacity, its rent cost, its operating cost, and its demand for daily demand for the spicy cube and its on hand amount. In the collaborative, we'll take a look at collaborative. There are three products actually. There's two companies with three products each, or maybe it's two. I think it's two products each, but we'll find that out. Anyway, it'll show you even more information. So now, as I click through, it's going to show me more. The dialog box shows me what's going on for a particular facility. So far, we haven't seen any blue lines. All of a sudden, I click on DC. All of a sudden, we're seeing blue lines. And that's because those blue lines are delivery routes and they indicate that there are vehicles at the facility that I've just selected, which is the Seasonings DC. And once we see that, we know that there are going to be vehicles, so I can go down to vehicles. If I click on a facility with no vehicles, I'll know it because I don't see any delivery lines. And if I go and click on vehicles here, it'll say there are no vehicles. Now, I could click on new and I could assign one there if I wanted to, but we'll get to that in a minute. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the DC. And if I want to know how am I getting product to the Fort Wayne store or any store, once I have detected that, aha, I could have a whole boatload of facilities here, and then I don't want to play a long, boring game called Where is the Truck? I want to quickly flip through here and get a sense of how this supply chain is structured, and that's what we've just done. So boom, 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 getting a lot of visual cues on the map. Now I know, all right, we've got some trucks there. I'm going to click on vehicles. Aha, here they are. Now, what do you think I would do if I wanted to know where, for instance, where the heck does truck 2 go? You're probably thinking, hey, I bet if you just click on that truck, it's going to show you. And you're right, it does. It shows me truck 2 runs down to Louisville, and here's a little dialog box. So it's telling me something about that truck. I'm going to close the facilities there. As you work with the screens, it's important to make sure that you can see your screen, that you know what's going on. I don't believe it's possible to really be successful unless you start to create a visual model and a mental model of this supply chain. If you're going to rely on a close reading of columns of numbers, hey, I don't know, give it a shot. It's never worked for me, but when I click on truck 3, I can see it's going out to Indianapolis. When I click on truck 4, aha, here is a multi-stop route. It's going to Indy, running up to Fort Wayne, and coming back to the DC. And if I then click on truck number 1, I see truck number 1 is also running down to Louisville. So very quickly, I've clicked through the model. I'm starting to get a sense of how this supply chain has been put together. When I click on truck 4, so it looks like the only truck that does go to Fort Wayne is this truck number 4. Now let's check out its route information. So I'm gonna, and a vehicle can have more than one route too. It's not like you can only have one route, but a vehicle must have at least one route, or the simulation won't run. And there is no reason in the world to have a vehicle if it doesn't have at least one route. So that's why we do that. Now I can see that this truck is, I can see the distance of this route. Now we've defined this truck here, and given the size and the speed of the truck, we know a bunch of stuff about how much could be possibly delivered, how long it'll take to run this route here. When I look at Fort Wayne, I can see we are dropping off 30 of the spicy cubes at Fort Wayne. So that is how I get product out there to Fort Wayne. Now, what do you think I would do if I said, you know what, I don't want to deliver anything to Fort Wayne? What do you think I would do?
Press a 0.
I would just type in a 0. Whoever just said that gets an instant gold star. So there we are. I mean, that's how. Don't overthink things. You'll find that the supply chain challenge will become increasingly demanding, but hopefully, as you work through the challenges, you start to get the hang of it. You're going to start to see that the software is relatively easy to use, but even a simple supply chain will start to require some more brain cycles. And welcome to the job of supply chain manager. So right now I've zeroed out my delivery quantity. I could also just say, you know what, because the big red X here says drop the whole route. I could go big red X, lose the whole route. And now I'm going to say update. And then I'm going to, because as you work with individual routes on a model, it'll focus on that and it'll blank out the others, just so you don't become confused about what you're doing. But if you've made some changes, I want to see what did I just do? Remember, always click on browser refresh. When in doubt, or when you wonder what the heck to do next, try browser refresh. It will probably do something you want to know. So look, now here's the size, here's what our supply chain model looks like now. I just completely eliminated the Fort Wayne stop. Now, if I want to put it back, I can do that too. I'm going to go click on the DC, which is where that particular delivery truck is based. I'm going to click on it. It was truck 4, as I recall. Yes, sir, it was. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say the route, and that was the one. I didn't even take the Fort Wayne name off of it. Let's add that route back. Now, I can send this truck wherever the heck I want, to any of the other facilities that we have defined there. So I'm going to say, you know what, go to Fort Wayne. I'm going to add it, and presto. Now it knows we're already in Indianapolis, so it figured, all right, let's do this. Now, if you've got other ideas, if you want to have that truck go, if there's like right around Dayton, it's got you going through Dayton, Ohio. If you happen to know that there's a whole lot of construction going on around Dayton, you want to maybe skirt Dayton, see how if I just drag and drop, I can pull this over. Let's see if we can skirt around Dayton. Yeah, there we go. We're going to do that. So we will suggest what looks like a good route, but I've noticed in my career that sometimes we humans actually know more than what the computer knows, and so we allow for you to exercise your own human intelligence. And so you can see what we're doing here. You can get kind of scrambled up, but that's Google for you. All right, so let's just say that looks good. I'm going to say update. Oh, you know what? I also want to add a product back to that Fort Wayne store. And I'm going to say the delivery quantity was, maybe we don't need 30, maybe we'll say deliver 15 up there. Add that. So there we are. I'm going to click update. You have to click update or it won't update. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to click this button right there called simulation, and it's going to.
Michael,